False number. What's your next single?
It's called Last Christmas. It's a Christmas single.
Is it very Christmassy?
Very.
Right.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away.
Hello everyone, welcome once again to Hits and Scandals. Today we have something different and special for you as we'll be talking about Last Christmas by Wham. It's one of those songs that every Christmas season becomes one of the most listened to worldwide, but hides a sad story behind it, as you'll discover shortly. Before we dive in, let's start with the question of the video. Do you know why George Michael always wore sunglasses? You'll find the answer at the end of the video, along with a great recommendation, as in every video. Now without further ado, let's begin. Wham! Was an iconic British duo made up of Andrew Ridgeley and George Michael. They met while studying at a school in Hertfordshire, England. From the very beginning, their shared passion for music made them inseparable friends. Andrew, with his charisma and creative spirit, combined with George's natural talent for songwriting and singing, made for the perfect combination. George took on the role of vocalist, keyboardist, and the band's primary songwriter. Meanwhile, Andrew mainly handled the guitar and backing vocals. Inspired by the infectious pop of the time and their desire to create something unique, they decided to form Wham! In 1981. Together, they developed a style that combined catchy rhythms, attitude-filled lyrics, and a carefree vibe that turned them into 80s pop icons. And who hasn't heard a hit from these geniuses? Wham's adventure lasted just 5 years and 3 albums, each of which gave us a memorable hit. And to understand today's story, we need to go back to their acclaimed music from The Edge of Heaven, Wham's final studio album. This album was much more than a collection of songs. It reflected the duo's desire to evolve and explore new creative territories instead of sticking to tried and true formulas. This ambition was most evident in Last Christmas, Wham's last big hit and the star of today's video. In the 80s, Christmas songs tended to follow well-established patterns: joy, carols, and celebration. Although Christmas is usually associated with happiness, we all know it can also be a time of reflection and nostalgia. But Last Christmas stood out among its festive contemporaries by offering a much more complex and realistic narrative. Instead of focusing on snow, lights, and presents, the song delves into something deeper: vulnerability and heartbreak. George Michael, the sole author of this hit, had a clear goal. He wanted Last Christmas not just to sound good, but to strike a chord emotionally. Knowing it would compete with Christmas classics like Jingle Bells and White Christmas, he knew he had to deliver something completely different. To achieve this, he paired an unforgettable melody with bittersweet lyrics that left room for hope. But where did this song originate? It all began on a quiet afternoon in December 1984. George Michael was at his parents' house when a simple melody popped into his head. According to Andrew Ridgeley, George's partner in Wham, the moment was almost magical.
We had eaten and were relaxing with the TV in the background when, almost without noticing, George disappeared upstairs for an hour. When he came back, his excitement was like he had struck gold. And in a sense, he had.
George had retreated to his old room, a space filled with memories where he had once pretended to record radio shows and written his first songs as a child. There, using his Casio keyboard and a tape recorder, he shaped the intro and the melodic, nostalgic chorus of Last Christmas.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
This room, rich in personal meaning, was not just a physical space, but a creative sanctuary where George could reconnect with his roots. While George was composing Last Christmas, Ridgeley was watching TV in the living room, so his role in the creative process was minimal. The melody came almost spontaneously, but finding the right words and tone took weeks of work. Michael knew he had something special on his hands, but was a perfectionist who wouldn't rest until it was just right. He oversaw every detail, from the lush backing vocals and characteristic jingle bells that evoke Christmas, to the melodic rhythm that paradoxically makes you want to dance while reflecting on lost love. In Andrew's words,
George had achieved musical alchemy, distilling the essence of Christmas into music. Adding lyrics about a love betrayed was a masterstroke that, as usual, touched hearts.
The production of Last Christmas was also a challenge. The song was recorded in August 1984 at London's Advision Studios, a place with technology that was already considered outdated at the time. However, Michael compensated for this with his determination and visionary approach. At just 21 years old, he had already taken full creative control of Wham. Michael wrote, produced, performed, and played every instrument on the track. He had gradually removed the influence of producers, managers, and record executives, and even minimized Andrew Ridgeley's role in the studio. Only his sound engineer, Chris Porter, and 2 assistants were present during the recording, though their contributions were minimal. According to Porter,
George insisted on doing everything himself. Even the Christmas bells, he played them himself, though I was dying to ring them.
recording Last Christmas was a meticulous process. Before recording, they decorated the studio with paper chains and Christmas lights to set the mood. Despite having no formal musical training, Michael's obsession with controlling every detail led him to play the keyboard with just 2 or 3 fingers, a laborious but effective process. Every instrumental layer was designed to be simple and direct. As Porter explained,
George didn't want attention on the instrumentation, but on his voice. The music is deliberately understated, creating a simple foundation for the vocals and melody to shine.
Wham's songs generally fell into 2 categories: danceable, sensual pop, or heartfelt ballads that tugged at the heartstrings. Last Christmas clearly belonged to the latter. With this simple but powerful line, George Michael takes us to a painful moment we've all experienced, giving our love to someone who doesn't cherish it. The combination of an upbeat melody with melancholic lyrics creates a unique contrast that takes us on an emotional roller coaster throughout the song. However, Last Christmas is more than just a heartbreak anthem. Throughout the song, there's an emotional duality, the pain of betrayal and the determination to move forward. The sense of loss is clear, but there's also a desire for resilience, to learn from the past and find a new chance at love. After the disappointment of the previous year, the narrator decides to be more cautious and give their heart to someone truly special. Christmas, with its symbolism of renewal and new beginnings, serves as a reminder that there's always a chance to start fresh, even if the fear of pain lingers. Here, the narrator acknowledges the naivety of their past actions, but also confesses how easy it is to fall back into the trap of desire, even when logic tells us otherwise. It's a brutally honest portrayal of how love can cloud our judgment and lead us back to what hurt us. The power of Last Christmas lies in its ability to connect with the audience universally. The lyrics, while personal, reflect a common experience: the longing to be loved, the pain of betrayal, and ultimately the lesson learned. With his incomparable voice, George Michael doesn't just sing a story, he invites us to reflect on our own emotional experiences, reminding us that every Christmas is a new opportunity to heal and start over.
I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away.
While the recording of the song was straightforward, 99% the work of George Michael, the video was quite the opposite. Directed by Andrew Morahan, a genius behind some of the best music videos in history, the visual side of Last Christmas was in excellent hands. Filmed in Saas-Fee, Switzerland, the video features George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley, along with their partners, visiting a cabin for Christmas. The shoot included family, friends, backup singers Pepsi and Shirley, and Kathy Hill, who played George's ex-girlfriend in the story. Kathy recalled the shoot as relaxed and joyful, highlighting her connection with George, who constantly made her laugh. One memorable scene shows George laughing after several snow tumbles.
A man undercover puts it on me.
However, behind the laughs and holiday cheer lies a silent drama that changes everything. George faces an emotional dilemma. His ex-girlfriend is there, but she's not alone. She's now with his friend Andrew Ridgeley. As if that weren't awkward enough, George notices something else. The brooch he once gave her as a gift now gleams on Andrew's coat. Through flashbacks, we see George recalling the special moment he gave the brooch to his then-girlfriend, while in the present, he grapples with the discomfort of seeing her happy with someone else. The narrative unfolds through loaded glances and gestures, such as when George decorates the tree and an ornament falls near Kathy, symbolizing their unresolved emotions. Filmed against a snowy backdrop, the video combines the melancholy of lost love with the warmth of Christmas festivities. The cabin, snow and lights create an atmosphere that complements the song's lyrics. In the end, the characters pair off, and George, with a new girlfriend, seems to have found some solace. Despite the relaxed and fun vibe during filming, the video also highlighted Michael's insecurities. Throughout his career, George was uncomfortable with the pressures of pop stardom, especially when in front of the camera. Kathy Hill recalled that after filming, Michael insisted on cutting several scenes because he disliked certain angles of his face. The video balances the joy of the holidays with the melancholy of unrequited love. This duality, present in both the video and the song, reflects Michael's feelings of nostalgia, heartbreak, and hope. Despite everything, it leaves open the possibility that perhaps the next Christmas will be more special. It seemed that Last Christmas would be the holiday hit of the year, but December 1984 brought an unexpected rivalry. That year, two future classics competed for the coveted #1 spot on the charts. Do They Know It's Christmas? By the Band-Aid supergroup and Last Christmas by Wham. In the end, Do They Know It's Christmas claimed the top spot, beating out Last Christmas. Interestingly, George Michael participated in both songs as he was also part of Band-Aid. Not only did George lend his voice to the Band-Aid single, but in a generous gesture, he donated the royalties from Last Christmas to the same humanitarian cause.
Final BBC Top 20 of 1984. Wham with Last Christmas still at number 2 and at number 1 for the second week. Number 1 for Christmas, Band-Aid. Some good news this morning from Wham. Even though they're at number 2 and they haven't made number 1 for Christmas, they are donating all the royalties of their record worldwide to the Ethiopia Fund. So that's numbers 1 and 2, totally in aid of the Ethiopia Famine Fund.
Despite the success, Last Christmas also faced its share of controversy. In the years following its release, the song was the subject of a lawsuit by the Dick James Publishing Company, who alleged that the melody was too similar to Can't Smile Without You. This song was originally recorded by the Carpenters in 1977 and popularized by Barry Manilow in 1978.
If you only knew what I'm going through, I just can't smile.
The case was dismissed when a musicologist presented around 60 songs with similar melodies and chord progressions, demonstrating that such coincidences were common in popular music. Last Christmas has transcended generations because it's not just a Christmas song. It's an emotional refuge for those facing difficult times. Its lyrics and melody offer comfort, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. Whether you're reminiscing about lost love or simply seeking to reconnect with yourself, Last Christmas has the power to resonate with every heart. It's an anthem for those who, amid the joy of Christmas, also need a space to feel and heal. When George Michael left us in December 2016, the world lost one of the most influential and beloved artists of his generation. His passing, ironically, occurred during the Christmas day, giving Last Christmas an even deeper meaning. The genius left us, but he left behind an anthem that will keep playing for a lifetime. This has been the story behind Last Christmas by Wham. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a like, shared it, and if you want to see more videos like this, just subscribe. Your support is vital. The answer to the initial question, why did George Michael always wear sunglasses? Well, although he was a global superstar, the truth is that George struggled with fame and being surrounded by so many people. To avoid a nervous breakdown, he soon began wearing sunglasses everywhere to avoid eye contact with strangers. Before I sign off, I'll leave you with today's recommendation, the song Shake Up Christmas by the Band Train. That's all for now, thanks for watching and I hope to see you next time.